To behold, Widaya thou has been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts.
Please come. Correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 20th March 2023.
Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of Monday, 28th March 2023 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move a motion for the correction and approval of the said vote of records and proceedings? Any honorable member? Honorable Member for 𝒂𝒏.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 20th March 2023 be corrected and approved.
Thank you very much. Any seconder, honorable members? Honorable Member for Kian Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 28th March 2023 be approved. Any observations or issues from honorable members? We will look at the record of votes and proceedings as usual, page by page, beginning with page 1. Page 2, honorable members. Honorable members, we move to page 3. Yes, please.
Yes, page 3. The last sentence, at 10 minutes after 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I think that should be in the morning.
Honorable, page 3, last sentence. At 10 minutes after 11 o'clock in the afternoon. 11 o'clock is never in the afternoon. Should it be 11 in the morning or 11 and It's in morning. So can we amend it to 11 o'clock in the morning? Honorable members, we move to page 4. Page
3.
3. You have any more on page 3?
Yes.
Honorable member for 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔.
Good. After correction and approval of, then on the motion, Honorable Alhaji Babu, member for Sabah-Sanjal, moved the motion and it was seconded instead of and was seconded. And it was seconded. And other areas we have and was seconded.
Yeah, but it is the motion he's talking about. Move the motion and was seconded by. It refers to the motion.
Yes, but in other areas you have and was seconded. If both, let's have consistency.
All right, let me open the floor. Honorable member, you can comment.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please.
I also agree with him that we delete the it and then maintain was just for consistency purpose.
But so we remove the IT. Any order on page 3? We now move to page 4. Honorable member for Jara Central.
Very much, Honorable Speaker. If you go to page 4, the first line on top there, the committee of the whole assembly agreed to consider the bill clause by clause as follows. Then if you continue there, number 6 and 7. Number 6 first, it reads, question put and agreed to that the clause, that clause 6 stand, it should carry S. And number 7 also, that line also should carry S. The stand there should carry S. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, number 6 and 7, clause 6 stands part of the bill as amended. 6 and 7. Any order on page 4? Honorable member for Woodley East.
Yes, thank you, Honorable. And if you come down to resumption of the assembly, the way it is framed, I think we can frame it better. At the tail end where it says, as well as be taken as the consideration stage. I think we should, if we want to maintain the consideration stage, we should link it to the committee of the whole house. Where it says, transpire the committee of the whole house during the consideration stage, and then it continues. That would sound better.
Well, can you read the whole thing and then so that we get...
At the invitation of the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Alhaji Drabo. So Drabo should be changed to Dabo. Reported to the Assembly what transpired at the Committee of the Whole Assembly and moved that the report of the Committee of the Whole Assembly be adopted as well as be taken as the consideration stage. So I am suggesting that where it says transpired at the Committee of the Whole Assembly during the consideration stage and move that the report of the committee be adopted. If it takes that format, it's not clumsy to you. Okay. If you feel, okay.
Honorable member, can you rephrase your say again? The whole assembly and move that continue from there. Woolley.
You want me to raise it? No, we're trying to agree. I think we've agreed that since there are two events, but then the Dabo should just be...
The Dabo will be corrected.
Yes, from Drabo. Yes, when you go down, where you say, question put and agreed to, that the Assembly adopted the motion. Question put and agreed to. You've seen that. He said the question put and agreed to, that is missing, that the Assembly adopted the motion. Should you adopt the motion? Then the answer is given.
That the Assembly adopts the motion.
Yes, that's the question. And then the answer should also come after that.
Pardon?
After the question is raised, the ayes have it, the answer should come that the Assembly has agreed to adopt it. Yeah.
The Assembly agreed to adopt the motion. Yes. Honorable member, can you come again? Question put and agree to.
Put and agree that it should be that the Assembly adopts the motion. And then after that is put, then the answer is the Assembly has agreed to adopt the motion. Or the Assembly adopted the motion. That's how it should go.
You want us to include another one? So far the question was put that the Assembly adopts the motion.
Yes, that's the question.
That's the question.
Yes, and the answer is...
You want the response, the answer?
Yes, the Assembly has agreed to adopt the motion. Or the Assembly adopted the motion.
Yeah, the Assembly agreed to adopt the motion.
Yeah.
No, that one, the whole thing is not there. All what he wants is...
Honorable,
member.
Yes, if you look at the way they write it, when there's a question put, they should say question put that the assembly adopts the motion instead of put the question put and agreed. And then after that, they can come and say the assembly has agreed to adopt the motion. You don't think so?
Yeah, in fact, we are on. So far, the response you are talking about is already stated in the statement. The question was put and it was agreed that the assembly adopts the motion. So the next one to say that the assembly agreed to adopt the motion is no more relevant. Huh? Yeah, this is what we are. This is what we have been consulting on. So we now agree that the question put and agreed that the assembly adopts the motion is enough. Huh? Okay. Any more on page 4? We move to page 5. Honorable Member for Jara Central.
Thank you very much once again, Honorable Speaker. Page 5, continuation of the consideration stage. You have a list there 1 to 6. Let's look at 1 to 3. 1, clauses. We strike out the S. And then wherever also it appears, because it's also on page 6. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. In clause 1, it's not more than 1, so it cannot be clauses. The S should be removed from 1, 2, and 3. Any more on page 5? Yes, Honorable Member for Woolly.
Yes, I just want to add that we adopt that format wherever the mistake is, because it's all over. So that we don't.
Which one are you referring to? Wherever clauses 1 appears, you mean? Yeah. That's agreed. Honorable members, page 6.
Yes.
Yes, Honorable Member for Talending.
Thank you, Speaker. On the motion to sit beyond 6 o'clock. Motion to sit beyond 6 o'clock, it was Honorable Lamin Jesani who moved the motion, and seconded by Alfuseni. No. It's Islam. No. Alfuseni seconded it.
Alfuseni did a mistake.
Honorable Lamin Jesani.
It's not Alfuseni Sise. Okay. So we are to reverse them. Okay. Any more questions on page 6? Yes, Woolly East.
Yes, thank you. I believe the motion moved by the member for Brikama South was to finish business. We are moving beyond 6 o'clock to finish business. That was the motion. Or to complete business. That's what we have approved here. Whether it
Honorable Member, I think you are right. Yesterday, the motion was to move beyond 6 and to complete the business. I understand the business could not be completed. because people felt hungry. There was no excuse. You move the motion that you should complete, you should complete. If you want to do justice, don't move a motion. You are not forced to move the motion.
Was it against the law to remove another motion to court session?
You can move another motion to do it. But when you move your motion to do something, you should do it. If you think you cannot do it, do another thing again to nullify it. You never did that. Who is Grump? I want to know who is gossiping behind.
𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒊𝒏. Yes. Yes. And we have resumed, assembly had resumed. Then another motion was raised for us to stop session by that time and seconded. Then that was the time we have adjourned session.
What? No, that was not your motion.
No, it was a motion, but they technically advised us. We stayed here till after 9 o'clock. Then members...
We are supposed to stay until 1 a.m. or 5 a.m.
Yes.
By your own resolution.
Yes.
Your own motion.
Yes.
Now, your motion was to sit to complete.
Yes.
A counter motion will be...
To suspend the business?
Yeah, to rescind that and then to stop at that particular time or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a thing of the past.
That was raised, and we did that.
We have passed that stage now. We cannot go back on it. But we are now on page 6. We are moving to page 7. We move to page 8. Okay. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 28 March 2023 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, can...
Order 72, consideration stage on the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill 2020 by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Honorable members will recall that at the request of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill 2020 was carried over from the 5th legislature to the current 6th legislature, from where it stopped in the previous assembly. Accordingly, the consideration stage for the said bill is scheduled for today. During the consideration stage, members shall have the opportunity to give detailed consideration and scrutiny to every clause and schedule in the bill. This stage also provides the first opportunity for amendments to the bill to be debated and voted on. I will now therefore resolve the Assembly into Committee of the Whole Assembly to give consideration to the bill, that's the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill 2020. The Assembly now resolves into the Committee of the Whole Assembly. Honorable members, the Assembly will now go into the Committee of the Whole Assembly to consider the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill 2020, clause by clause. We will also be guided by the committee's report on the bill, if you remember, and clause 72 of the standing orders during the consideration stage. I think members have got the report of the Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. That would guide us, that had been adopted.
Clause 1, subtitle.
It is proposed that clause 1, subtitle, stand part of the bill. I think, yes, Honorable.
We changed 2022 to 2023.
Yeah, honorable members, the proposal is that the Act 2022 should be 2023.
Yeah.
Who said no?
Honorable Honorable Chair, the bill was 2022 bill. So why are we changing to 2023?
Enacting.
We are enacting it now. It's becoming an act, and we are in 2023.
Honorable member, you have done the same to previous bills.
No, I did not remember that.
I mean, when I say you plural. No, but you never commented. Yesterday itself, Honorable, all the bills that we are back in 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 1, short title, stand part of the bill as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 2, interpretation.
It is proposed that clause 2, interpretation, stand part of the bill. Are they looking at the... Who is the chairman of the...
He is the chair, but there was issue on.
No issue. It is proposed that clause 2, interpretation, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 3, definition of torture.
It is proposed that clause 3, definition of torture, stand part of the bill. Committee? Yes. Honorable member for Serekunda West.
At 1B, that the word of part of the report be deleted in subsection 1B to read as punishing that 1B, yes. Yeah, that the word of be deleted in subsection 1B to read as punishing that person for an act he or she or may or any other person has committed, or is suspected of having committed or planning to commit, or the of there be deleted.
The of in the
Honorable members,
1B.
Clause 3, 1B, last line of B. Committed or of planning to commit, that of should be removed. Have you seen it?
Yes.
And we are in agreement. Okay? You are? Honorable Justice Minister, what is your position?
That's not correct.
For us laymen, we believe that the off may not be there.
I am okay. Well, I didn't get.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, I was conferring with my team of drafters, but I'm of the view that the off is relevant because there is a separation or, and you are suspected of either having committed or of planning. So the or separates the two situations. So you are suspected of one situation, or you are suspected of another situation, separated by or. So the second of is still relevant because it's linked to the root word suspect. When you say suspect, you are suspected of something. So suspected of having committed or suspected of planning.
You see, honorable members, how legal-minded people can be. So, are we in agreement?
Honorable Speaker, yes.
Huh?
Member for Banjul, not yes.
No. You avoid. Honorable member for Central Badibu. Honorable member.
Tell me what I'm saying.
Yes, I mean, I want us to convince each other until we reach a common ground. So, we leave it as it is. Yes, please. Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 3, definition of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 4, prohibition of torture.
It is proposed that clause 4, prohibition of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 5, criminalization of torture.
It is proposed that clause 5, criminalization of torture, stand part of the bill.
No issues as far as the committee is concerned.
Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. Somebody shouted.
Yes, yes. Honorable, I have an observation. I think the committee has an observation on that.
No.
Yes, Honorable, I have an observation on the... No, it's 6 HIV/AIDS.
Honorable member, I think we have to wake you up. This morning, something went wrong somewhere. Yes? Huh?
Let's move on.
Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 5, criminalization of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 6, circumstances aggravating torture.
It is proposed that clause 6, circumstances aggravating torture, stand part of the bill. Yes, honorable member for Serekunda West and chairperson of the committee.
Yeah, okay. But we only have problem at G, and we just made an addition. Victim acquires HIV/AIDS. Then what we propose is other communicable diseases. Yes. We can add that there.
Honorable Chair, observation.
Because we cannot list all the communicable diseases. HIV/AIDS is not the only. Your proposal is on a D. Yes.
Victim acquires HIV/AIDS or other communicable diseases is what you are proposing to be added. Honorable members, let's get it clear. We will give you opportunity. Unless you listen to the person, you are in a haste to comment, you may miss the point. Listen and we will give you the floor. Yeah, or other communicable diseases to be added. That's your proposal. Yes, now the floor is open.
Yes.
Yes, Honorable Member for Sabak.
Honorable Speaker, I think if you say other communicable diseases, there might be cases of a pandemic, and that when situations like that comes, it covers it might affect every other individual. So I think in that case, to add other communicable diseases would be very broad. So I think we have to look at it again.
Chair. Even this COVID-19 virus, it's very wide. Yeah, Chair. Yes, Chair. Yeah? Chair.
Honorable Chair, thank you. Honorable Chair, I have a different suggestion, because when we say communicable disease is very wide, even when we have flu, as alluded by my colleague, or even flu from people, could be even insect bite could be communicable disease. So it will be very difficult to put communicable disease to suit torture. But what we can do is, I'm suggesting we have what we call sexual transmitted diseases or infections, because HIV/AIDS is not only sexual transmitted infection. So if we say HIV/AIDS, you limit it about other infections that could be caused by rape or other things or torture. So I think we put sexual transmitted infections or diseases.
Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And then I think the drafters we are very careful in putting this HIV/AIDS and limit it to it only. Because if you look at it, there are many other communicable diseases, and most of them are curable. But HIV/AIDS stand out, and the stigmatization surrounding this particular area, and still now there is no cure for HIV/AIDS. So basically, if you want to expand, include other communicable diseases, you can never exhaust this, never. So I think it is better we leave it as it is.
Honorable Member for Upper Salum.
Yes, thank you. No, actually I share the same view like we have a Botofel here, so I share the same view.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Yeah,
Member for Kantora.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I tend to agree with the member of Țăvăș that adding communicable disease is too broad. Tuberculosis and other things can come in. So many things can come in. So I'm proposing that we stick to the original text to approve that.
Member for...
Chair, we need to check the route. He's saying is circumstances aggravating torture, notwithstanding Section 5, where it is proved that at the time of or immediately before or after the commission of torture, the offender uses or threatens to use or used a deadly weapon. Offender uses or used sex as a means of torture. Victim was a person with a disability. Victim was pregnant or becomes pregnant. Victim dies, and so on.
Yes.
So now, victim acquires HIV/AIDS after torture. That's what we are saying, after the commission of torture. But the victim can also acquire other communicable diseases after torture.
Example.
Like, for example, what you are saying,
Please listen to him.
transmitted disease. There are many sexually transmitted diseases that.
Yeah, you know our problem.
Transferred to the victim, you know, after the torture, if it is proven.
Look at the context.
Yes.
After all these things, the punishment for the crime,
yes,
is life imprisonment. So that if you look at it, you cannot bring about flu, other things into that. So if you look at the penalty for the offenses, that's why HIV/AIDS, which is not curable, for that matter, is seen as aggravating crime. So the punishment is life imprisonment. So you cannot go to put in these small other ones there, and it comes to the same punishment for life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Huh? Yes, honorable member for.
I want to allay the fear of member of Badibu's submission that if you look at B, offender uses use of sex as a means of torture. So issue of sexual transmitted diseases has been captured here under this. So I'm appealing. Let's approve the original text and go by that. Thank you. Chair.
Yes, who is? Yes, honorable Nyamin, huh?
Nyanija.
People, yes, Nyanija.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And then I go with your submission. And then we have to be a bit careful. Communicable diseases and then sexually transmitted diseases. Most of these things are curable, as I said, but HIV is not curable. Like just having that contact with somebody by means of torture, you can even have cold, you transmit it to the person. You can even have maybe diarrhea transmitted to the person. Some of these minor STIs, you can have it transmitted to the person. But here we are talking about life imprisonment, as the Honorable Chairperson said. So we have to be very, very careful. And I think the drafters are very right. So honestly, let's just maintain this.
Or if we are still arguing about it, instead of HIV, let's put incurable diseases.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's okay like this. Okay. Honorable.
Speaker, it cannot be okay like that, Speaker.
Chair,
not okay.
Chair, I think HIV might not be curable, but there are other sexually transmitted diseases which could be deadlier than HIV. There are other transmitted diseases that are deadlier than HIV. So both these two sides have complications. So on my view, we put sexually transmitted diseases there.
I agree that there are some maybe deadlier, but there are some sexually transmitted diseases. They are just like flu and other things. They are curable and you can get these things. So why for me, for us to look at, we look at the penalty for it. The penalty at the end is life imprisonment. Yes, at AG.
For those who are scared of what somebody might acquire as a result of sexually transmitted diseases, I think B will take care of it, because B is use of sex as a means of torture. If there is evidence that sex was used as torture, irrespective of whether you acquire a disease or not, it's already aggravated.
Exactly.
Even if you did not acquire any disease as a result of sex. Exactly. As long as there is proof that somebody used sex to commit torture, that torture level has already been aggravated, irrespective of the outcome. Exactly. So that is captured. Exactly. I think HIV/AIDS is added where somebody knowingly uses somebody who is infected with HIV and you use that person to commit torture. That is another level now. Completely a different level altogether. Because more or less under the circumstances of HIV curability globally now, if you deliberately infect somebody with HIV, and which can happen without necessarily true sex. Yes. But if you deliberately infect somebody with HIV, you are more or less sentencing that person to death. So it's equivalent that you who did that should also be sentenced to death. So we must not only see that HIV is only transmittable sexually. You can use other means to deliberately infect somebody with HIV, even medically, and you deliberately infect somebody, and that could be a method of torture. You can use a syringe or things that you know are already infected and use it to torture somebody deliberately to infect him without going through the sexual route. If that can be proven, then you should be punished for that act. But for the sexual dimension, I think B takes care of that. Anybody that uses sex as torture, irrespective of whether sexually transmitted disease have transmitted or not, that is already an aggravated torture.
Honorable Speaker, member for Banjul North.
Yeah, it's difficult to debate with lawyers, in matters like this. But, what came to our mind when we saw victim acquires HIV/AIDS, all our mind was, how are they going to be transmitted through sexual intercourse? So we also felt like what the speaker suggested. Do you understand? Incurable disease. Because what the chairperson of the health committee is saying, we have some deadly sexual infection diseases that people die with them. Mentally it affects them. They die with those diseases. So you cannot tell, because to me or to some people, HIV could be treated. It cannot be cured, but could be treated. You have some deadly infections. But we are not going into that. But the suggestion that I'm going, we put incurable diseases.
Why now we want to withdraw from that? From his explanations, sexually, B, offender uses or use sex as a means of torture. That will capture almost all our concerns about sexually transmitted.
Honorable Speaker.
If you look at it. So I think why HIV is specifically mentioned has been made clear. It's not only through sex, it has a lot of other dimensions that one can acquire.
Honorable Speaker.
These things. So, Wooly,
member for Banjul North.
I'm convinced from that dimension, but what we are also thinking is that by the time you arrest me, I have no problem. You tortured me, and out of the torture, I come up with a very serious disease. Who causes that disease to me? Whether it is HIV or not, who causes that disease to me? It is after torture that I got that disease. So whether it arises from sexual intercourse or not, it is after the torture, whatever torture you did to me, that I acquired the disease.
Yeah, that makes it aggravating and deadly. That's what we are saying.
Sexual intercourse is by torture. But out of the sexual intercourse, the result is what.
Yeah, if you are able to prove
the result can be HIV, it could be other diseases also.
If you are able to prove that you have been sexually molested, and from there you have acquired A, B, or C, that is already taken care of. Yes. Yes. No, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying is, if you are able to prove that that has happened, the outcome, just like if you are just stabbing, you have to prove that the stabbing caused death. That's where it is. If it is proved, then that's murder.
Speaker. Honorable Chair, member for Banjul North, please.
Come and stab you intentionally. For you to prove that, you must establish that the stabbing is the cause of death. Yeah, first of all, that the stabbing is the cause of death. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I said with intent. With intent. Yes.
That's why it's difficult
to prove murder, because you must prove that intent, that your ulterior motive is to kill him.
Speaker, I think the chair is saying he is convinced. We should go forward ahead.
Chair.
It is proposed that clause 6, circumstances aggravating torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no.
Sorry, I think, Chair, I think something is popping up. I think Banjul have been flagging.
No, to be honest, I feel like I am not even part of this committee.
Wait, hello, there is a room.
Who
who this, if this catch you, you want it.
You call my attention. If you don't feel
I've
part
been
of
calling your attention for so many times.
Honorable member, if I cannot see you or I have not seen you, you can call my attention. What has he done? If you don't want to participate, you may go out. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you can call my attention. You have the right to call my attention. We are at a committee stage.
Okay, Speaker, let's continue.
What have you got to say, member for, was it Banjul? Banjul not?
What I wanted to say is that as far as acquiring HIV/AIDS is concerned, it's not only through sex, but through infected blood transfusion. So in that regards, I will agree with the Minister of Justice that we just go ahead with what is in front of us, because it is okay. There is no problem with that.
You don't need to appeal with the Minister of Justice
so many times, and
yes, the Minister of Justice said the same thing. You appeal with the other people, those who are disagreeing. And I think the Honorable Minister said it well, that it's not only through sex that you can acquire HIV/AIDS. So you are in agreement with us, and we have put the question, and it's agreed to. Yes. Now we go to the next
Clause 7, reparations to be made by court in certain cases.
It is proposed that Clause 7, reparations to be made by court in certain cases, stand part of the bill. Yes, Honorable Member for Serekunda West.
The committee is recommending some grammatical changes here. To say the word or to a term of, term of, to be inserted between the word dalasi and imprisonment. To now read, go to page 7 of the, I'm reading the report, page 3 of the report, making reference to page 7 of the bill. Now it should read like this. Any person, page 3 of the report, making reference to, come again?
Of their report. Page 7 of the bill. They have a recommendation.
After
on clause 7.
But not the bill.
On clause 7.
Yes.
Yes.
Page 3 of the report.
That's clause 9.
Sorry, sorry, Chair, sorry. Yeah. This is supposed to be clause 9. Sorry.
Yeah. It is proposed that clause 7, reparations to be made by court in certain cases, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 8, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment.
It is proposed that clause 8, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 9, accessories to the offense of torture.
It is proposed that clause 9, accessories to the offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Yes, Honorable Member for Serekunda West.
I think I was a step ahead. So that's the very section clause I'm referring to. That words or to a term of to be inserted between the words dalasi and imprisonment. To now read, any person knowing or having reason to believe that, page 3 of the report and reference to page 7 of the bill. Okay. Well, according to my report, I'm saying page 7.
Yes, page 7. It starts on page 7, yes.
Yeah. And now, after that insertion, it should now read. Can I go on, Chairman? Any person knowing or having reason to believe that the support will be applied or used for or in connection with the preparation of commission or instigation of torture commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine of $100,000 or to a term of imprisonment for 3 years or to both.
And you are proposing?
That's what we are proposing, because we are proposing to
no, but you are reading exactly what is on the bill.
No, maybe I'm just ahead of you. Let's start the recommendations.
Okay. No. Now you can you read any person?
Any person.
Are you reading from your recommendation or the bill?
Recommendation.
Okay. Your recommendation.
Yeah. Now that's how it should read.
Yeah. Any person.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Knowing or having reason to believe that the support will be applied or used for or in connection with the preparation of commission or instigation of torture commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine of $100,000 or to a term of imprisonment for 3 years or both.
Okay, the difference here is or to imprisonment for 3 years or both.
That's right.
And then you want it or to a term of imprisonment.
That's right.
Yes.
Legal people.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
The difference is the same. What they are saying is the same. Just the difference. Instead of or to imprisonment for 3 years, they are proposing that or to a term of imprisonment for 3 years. Instead of to imprisonment, they want a term of imprisonment.
That's right.
Legal people.
Yes,
No, the term of be removed. Yes, Honorable, who was it?
Yes.
Yes?
Gara Central.
Gara Central.
Yeah, that new insertion, Honorable Chair, it doesn't make any changes to that framing. It doesn't make any change.
Yeah. You mean whether you babula julo as he said?
Yeah, no. Whether we insert that new insertion or we leave it as it is as drafted, it makes the same sense. Oi.
Honorable Chair, I have a question. Honorable Chair, I have a question for the minister.
Yes.
I have a question for the minister.
Not for the minister.
For you.
Yes.
Okay. My question is the fine. To me, the fine is small.
No.
Let's get this one correct.
No, no. You are talking about a different thing. We have not concluded this one.
No, but
we have not concluded. Or people are believing that it's the same. Others are saying that no, let's just change it to this one. Which one are we doing? If it is the same, then we leave it as it is. If it is the same, why do we have to then alter it? Yes, Honorable.
Well, Chair, since the minister is in agreement,
Honorable Chair,
and the speaker that just took the floor also is in agreement, that is the same. So we want it to be effected to a term of imprisonment. We want the term to be there.
Honorable Speaker, I think.
Chair.
Okay. Yes.
Let me clarify. You are imprisoned to
That's what I want to make clear.
You are not just imprisoned. You are imprisoned and you are giving a term of imprisonment. So the term is very appropriate. That's why we are saying. Yeah.
Imprisonment is what is there. You want it to be or to a term of imprisonment. This is what we are saying. These are the two. Term.
Answer.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
Not a term for a period.
Honorable Chair, I think the minister agreed so that we can shorten the discussion. But to be honest, what is in the initial draft is better than what is being proposed. Let us leave it as it is drafted.
Let us leave it as it is.
As it is. The minister only agreed so that we can save time. But since we are not saving time, let's leave it as it is, then we proceed.
Chair. Chair, I want to suggest that if their amendment cause no harm also, if the amendment also cause no harm on the text, there's nothing wrong with the amendment too. If it causes no harm, there's nothing wrong with it. If it changes the meaning and it cannot make sense, of course we can criticize it. But if it doesn't change any meaning and of course, it does not cause any harm on the text, there's nothing wrong with the amendment.
Yeah, the difference here is if you amend it, it means we have to go and redo it. That takes time. If it is the same, leave it as it is. Redoing it is another time. So yes, who?
Honorable Chair, I think that's my opinion. I think the amendment is specific rather than saying imprisonment. I think it should be to a term.
You want to include the term of imprisonment?
Yes.
Okay? Chair, thank you. I think the term there is 3 years, and I think it's captured there. So there is no need for us to change anything, my opinion.
The 3 years is the term.
That will be a different dimension.
I think it's more of a semantics here. I don't know whether Honorable Keba read my mind. For convenience, I wanted us to move on. But a term is the definition of a specific period. And the period is stated because it's stated 3 years. So the word term is not there, but the term of imprisonment is there. So it's just tautology now to say term of 3 years when the 3 years is there defining the term.
Good intervention, Honorable Minister. But I think you are also misleading us. You should have come up with this. Speak your mind. But you shouldn't wait somebody to read your mind. So the nominated member read your mind, and now you are agreeing.
No, let me be positive here, Speaker, with your permission.
No.
Initially, my position is like the intervention from the back, Honorable Member for, I don't know, the one in suit. Kiang is to say sometimes when it doesn't cause harm, why waste time? So the addition is a tautology, but it does not affect the meaning. If it were going to affect the meaning, I was going to insist that we don't put it there. But I mean, it's just adding more words, but we have had what we wanted with limited words. And I commend the committee because to me, from the positive point of view, it means you were reading everything for you to be able to come with this. So for me, it's commendable. And so that is it. But we can do with less words and achieve the same concern that you raise.
Thank you very much. We have agreed in principle on that. There were certain development on the same issue. Yes, Honorable Member for Central Badibu, you wanted to say something?
No, Chair, my proposal is we increase the fine instead of 100,000 to 300,000.
I have to be from St. Os. You are the one. Oh. Yeah, okay. You are. I thought you were saying. He is saying that what fine? The fine of 100,000.
I disagree.
You know, the 3-year term. 3 years. You see, the two should commensurate. I want to believe legal people. You know. Now, you are going to decide. It's not the minister who is going to decide.
Yes, Tia. I also disagree to that. I think this was well consolidated. These people did everything, and it have manifest that they read and they come up with this term. I think I'm in agreement with the 100,000. Thank you.
But what is the necessity for increasing it to 300,000, and that yet the 3 year remains as it is?
Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, if you look at the statement carefully, he's saying that 100,000 there is an alternative, imprisonment for 3 years. It's possible. Or both. Or both can go concurrently. But yes.
The fine separate and finished?
Yes.
The imprisonment separate and finished, or to both fine and imprisonment?
Okay, so my case is where you are having the fine different from serving the jail terms. What I'm saying, the amount of money put here as far as the crime committed is concerned, to me is a little bit on the low side. So that's why I'm suggesting if it could be adjusted. If 300 is not possible, we go for 200. Because somebody can abate for the torture and pay somebody more than $100,000.
Honorable Speaker.
So
Chair,
that's my view, and this is what I'm putting to you.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. Yes, I believe we should leave it like this, because if you increase the amount to 200,000, obviously the term 3 years would also be increased. So of course, you have to maintain that. Otherwise, you are increasing.
Honorable Chair.
No, he's saying that if you increase the fine, he will also propose a corresponding increase in term of imprisonment.
No, he's not saying that. He said automatically we have to increase the...
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
No,
that's
not the sense.
It cannot be... He doesn't have the final decision. He can only propose. Now, this is what I'm saying. That's why I corrected it. Yeah, yes, somebody. Yes,
yes, Mr. Chair. Lower body. Mr. Chair, I think my proposal is we leave it as it is because we doesn't know the magnitude of the crime, how big the crime is. So we leave it as how it is, $100,000 before we increase it to 200,000.
All right, honorable members, it is proposed that clause. Yes, who is calling? Kiang. Kiang West.
Yes. Yes. I want to be in line with Baribu Central. Look, the severity or the consequences of some of these actions could be more expensive, could be very, very expensive. And they put in only 100,000 there. We are not putting, this is not a profit making, it's for deterrent. It's for deterrent of this action. And the consequences of these actions could be very severe and more expensive. So therefore, on my view, we adjust it to 200,000 at least.
Honorable member, remember that the severity of the crime is what will enable the judge to impose the necessary conviction. Now, if it is very serious, he can even give you the fine and send you for 3 years in prison.
Board, that's why the board is there.
Okay, I want to suggest...
So the whole thing is, if you think about the severity, and remember, 100,000 may be a $1 to you, 100,000 is a lifelong savings for others.
Yes, okay, Chair, I want to suggest we put at least 100,000.
No, Honorable, you see, at the end of the day,
Chairman,
it's the judge that will determine. So far, we should be comfortable with the fact that you can get both of these things. You can be fined, at the same time be sent to Malta.
Thank you very much. I think you are missing there. You can have both.
Oh, okay, let's say at least 100,000.
Of the case.
At least 100,000. At least 100,000.
Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 9, accessories to the offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye.
Chairman, but next time you can look here too. I have been raising my Chairman.
Honorable, I have been making a statement.
I have been raising my tag for
Listen, there is a time for you to do that. When I'm making a statement, you don't do
Chairman,
that.
I have been raising my tag.
If you
I have been calling you.
Listen.
No, Chairman.
Who is speaking?
Come on.
Busumbala, when I told somebody here, as we are discussing the issue, you can raise the issue. But you don't wait until I have...
When I call you Chairman, I want your attention. So
this is what I'm... Honorable Member for Busumbala, I have said it here. Honorable Member,
that's
please
why I'm
listen.
calling you. I'm here to represent my people, to make sure that I put my input in.
Honorable Member, you see...
When I call you, you should answer me.
Honorable Member, when the Speaker is speaking, or the chairman is speaking, you don't speak. Go by your standing orders. When I come in, you keep quiet. That's your law.
Keep quiet.
Then I will send you outside.
Yeah, you can send me outside.
And that's what I don't want to do.
When I raise my tag, I call your attention.
Honorable.
Give me a chance to talk.
Honorable, I have said it here. If you raise your tag and I have not seen you, and listen, Honorable, please, keep quiet. If you raise your tag, I do not see you, and the gentleman does not see you, call my attention at the time. I have said that. If you are here to represent your people, you must do it by law, according to the law, not how you want it. Please, very clear. I am not denying anybody from speaking. If I don't see you, call my attention. That's very simple. You raise your tag, I don't see you, he did not see you, call our attention.
That's what I did.
You did it at the wrong time. Please. And before we go, you wanted to put I give you an opportunity to make an input into what clause 9. What is your input?
My input in this particular, I just want to draw the attention of members that it is a discretion of the magistrate. The provision here is giving a discretion to a magistrate to impose both fine and sentence. So in this respect, 100,000 to me is suffice, because the magistrate can give 100,000 and equally impose 3 years sentence on the accused. So it makes substance to leave it that way. That's my input.
Thank you very much. I think that's what we concluded on. Now, let me put the question. It is proposed that clause 9, accessories to the offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 10, accessories after the fact to the offense of torture.
It is proposed that clause 10, accessory after the fact to the offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 11, responsibility of a supervisor over actions of a subordinate.
It is proposed that clause 11, responsibility of a superior over actions of a subordinate, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 12, right to complain.
It is proposed that clause 12, right to complain, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, but before that, right to complaint or complain? It should be the INT. The T should be out. Oliver. Lower Salum.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I want the Minister to give us a brief on this issue. The sake of this bill is just to address the people who are confined on the for under custody, or is open the bill, because sometimes you can get a wicked husband who will torture his wife in house. At the end of the day, it causes problems. So whether this bill is to address only the people who are confined in the custody or not.
I think you are taking us to another milestone. Honorable, you want to say something?
It has nothing to do whether you are in custody or not. I think, I don't know whether you were in when the clause defining torture was adopted. So torture has been defined, and we're trying to make it as progressive as possible. So private persons can commit torture somehow, but mainly it is the state operatives that torture, and it includes infliction of severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, on a third party. So you don't necessarily have to be in custody to be tortured. But the example that you give is a different one altogether. You are bringing domestic violence. We have a law that regulates and deals with domestic violence. There is a whole law, Act of Parliament, that prohibits domestic violence. So probably your example falls within the ambit of the Domestic Violence Act.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. It is proposed that clause 12, right to complain, stand part of the bill.
Chair?
Yes?
Yes. Clause 12.
Clause 12, yes?
Subclause 3. Chair West, yes, clause 12 subclause 3. A person arrested and detained under subsection 2 shall be assisted to communicate as soon as possible. This communication, is it that when the person requests or deems that I want to communicate to my people, or we are making it compulsory on the authorities to immediately assist that individual to communicate without requesting that I need to communicate? Because it says the person shall be assisted immediately to communicate as soon as possible with his or her relatives.
That relates to sub 2.
Yes.
Yeah?
Sub 2, what is the link? I don't understand.
Yeah, because you look at it under, you said a person arrested and detained under subsection 2. So it relates to subsection 2. And look at subsection 2. Let's read it so that we get a broader meaning of what we are up to.
Yes.
Can you read it?
Yes. Where a complaint is made, the body receiving the complaint shall promptly investigate the complaint, and where there are substantial grounds to support the complaint, the police shall arrest, detain, and charge the person with the offense or he or she is alleged to have committed. But here my argument is about requesting that I need to communicate, because we are making that the person we are giving that the person must be assisted to communicate. But I am requesting that should be based on the need of the complaint, that I want to communicate to so people. So therefore, an assist is given. But it is saying here the person must. Yes. So that's what I'm looking at.
Are you saying that that request to assist, is it based on the request of the accused or the detained person, or is it something that should automatically happen? That's your question.
I think it should be. My submission is that it should be based on the request of the accused that I want to communicate. Then their assist is given. But you don't request that you need to communicate, and it is put there you must be assisted to communicate.
So I don't know what the interpretation will look like. Anyway, let's have the honourable member for lower
relatives of detainees know that they know.
Honourable Chair, I just wanted to react to what he said, because I think this is law. Subsection 2, what subsection 2 is saying. For subsection 3, the law is saying it has to be there. You know, when you are detained, you are charged, you should be able to communicate to your people. That is provided for in the law. I think that is what the law is saying.
That's not my point.
You don't even have to request.
That's not my point. It says as soon as possible.
Please, let him learn.
I think what he is saying is based on request. That's what you said. I said it is provided for in the law. Whether you request or not, it should be provided for you. That's what the law is saying now.
Chair, in fact, this is a right. When you arrest somebody, in fact, there should be a time frame. Before that time frame, the person should be able to communicate to his people. You must inform your relatives that I am here under police custody. We are trying to run away from people disappearing and all that. So it's very progressive there.
Member for Central Banjul.
What I want to just tell honourable member of KOS, is that it's constitutional, but for him to be comfortable, such quotations, we can lift it directly as it is stated in the Constitution to put it there for him to understand.
Honourable member for Kiang West.
Yeah. My argument was about, it says as soon as possible. As soon. Sooner what? Sooner after your arrest, or sooner you request that I want to communicate?
If I understand you, you said that assistance should be based on the request from the detainee.
Perfect.
That's what you said.
Perfect.
Now what they are saying is, that is a fundamental right. If somebody is detained, whether he requests or not, you should be able to assist the person to communicate to his people that he is under detention.
Honorable member for Jesua.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Yes, this is the right for the complainant. It is your right to do so. In case you are deprived of the right, what next? If you are denied the right to call your people, what next? What is the outcome?
If you go and steal,
what is the penalty?
Honorable member.
Thank you, Chair. To help Honorable Member for Kiang West, these are progressive provisions, that is geared towards enabling or facilitating the accused person to be informed of his right to communicate to his relatives. So once you are apprehended as an accused person, you have the right to make that prompt communication to your relatives. How you are going to do it now is those who are in custody of you, is their responsibility to make sure that you communicate to your relatives. I think this is a provision that is...
All right. Thank you. Honorable members.
Yes, this is Sabasanya. Yes, before you move that, the right to complain. You have suggested that we should change it to complain, COMPLAIN, and the heading here is COMPLAINT. I think there is a bit difference. Complain is a verb, and complaint is a noun. So I think it's important we factor that out. Otherwise, if we take it to be that in that way, because I can see it coming up in number 2. So I think it's better we leave it like that, complaint.
No. Chair. To investigate the complaint.
That is correct. That is the verb.
Yeah. But here, right to complaint cannot be right.
No. Right to, any word that is followed by to should be in the present form. Right to complain.
Right to complain in our ordinary language, it cannot be right. Yeah.
Honorable Chair.
We have made that amendment.
Common language. We have been seeing it, people writing, the complainant.
Yes.
Where will you take that now?
Honorable member, with all due respect, all the legal luminaries have agreed. Honorable members, that is to be corrected on 12. And it is proposed that clause 12, right to complain, as amended, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 13, institution of criminal proceedings.
It is proposed that clause 13, institution of criminal proceedings, stand part of the bill. Observation occurs. Yes?
Yes. On the 13(1)(a), by a police officer, let me read from 1. Criminal proceedings under this act may be instituted in one of the following ways. By a police officer bringing a person arrested with or without warrant before a magistrate upon a charge. Sometimes this without a warrant, because if you come to me, you want to arrest me, I can ask you, where is your warrant to arrest me? So with or without. Hope this without will not create a problem.
When people can be arrested without warrant?
Without warrant?
Yes.
It's lawful?
Yes. Yes. And you cannot even amend that here. That you have to go and amend that in the main one, where people should not be arrested without warrant at all costs. You cannot amend it here. This one is based on what is already in existence.
Chair.
This proposed.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes. Kiang West.
How do you, ascertain that the person arresting me is the right individual to arrest me without a warrant? How do you know?
Hello. Because there are times when on reasonable suspicion of offending crime, the police is allowed to arrest you.
Chair.
So, I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. West, Kiang West.
No.
Chair.
I said, yes, Honorable member for
just to help the honorable member,
how you will know is if the person comes and wants to arrest you, ask him what's your identity. Simple. The person will produce his ID. If it's a secret police, will produce his ID to say I'm a police officer.
So what if he doesn't produce that?
Well, that's another thing. But you have to, you can convince yourself to say what's your identity. But the warrant can be without it.
Honorable, once more, Chair. You know, we are looking at the torture bill, and a lot of torture happened in this country in a form that the right people are not. Nobody assigned them to go and do these things. So I think it's good that when you are making such a progressive law, if you are going to arrest somebody on such matters, you need to go with the warrant. What will stop you not to go with the warrant?
Can I help, Chair?
If there already exists a law that says a police officer can arrest you without warrant on A, B, and C, you cannot say here and now that that is not there.
Chair. Nyamina West.
Yes, somebody who is saying.
Yes, Nyamina West.
Nyamina West.
Yes, okay. I am in the committee. This was issue of concern when we are reviewing it with my chief. But what we advise to leave it like that, because there are some instances is urgent, and before you get this warrant from the station, the culprit has fled. What can you do?
No, you know.
Yes, they advise us to leave it like this during our consultation. If someone's happened to...
Honorable member, I think the best thing is, if we want to address this issue, we go for the substantive clause itself to say that you cannot arrest anybody without a warrant. But where there is a law to say that you can be arrested by a police officer without warrant for A, B, and C, you cannot do anything about that to come and change it here. So why are we going to waste our time on that? We are a legislative body. Call for it, and if you want amendments, we propose amendments to it.
Honorable Chair, any good citizen can arrest anybody without a warrant.
Who is?
Bakau, Honorable Member Bakau, yes.
Yes, Bakau, yes.
Any good citizen can arrest anybody without a warrant. So in the absence of police warrant, any good citizen can do that.
You are just saying what I was saying. All right, so we agree now. It is proposed that clause 13, execution of criminal proceedings, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 14, control over private prosecutions.
It is proposed that clause 14, control over private proceedings, stand part of the bill. Private prosecutions, stand part of the bill. Committee? Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 15, inadmissibility of evidence obtained by torture.
It is proposed that clause 15, inadmissibility of evidence obtained by torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 16, prohibition on the use of information obtained by torture.
It is proposed that clause 16, prohibition on the use of information obtained by torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, Busumbala. Yes?
Thank you, Chair. How about information that are relevant to the case in this respect?
But they are obtained by torture. The word torture.
Any evidence obtained by torture is inadmissible. Any evidence. So far you obtained it through torture. It is proposed that clause 16, prohibition of the use of information obtained by torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 17, transfer of persons where likelihood of torture exists.
It is proposed that clause 17, no transfer of persons where likelihood of torture exists, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 18, jurisdiction of the Gambian courts in relation to offense of torture.
It is proposed that Clause 18, jurisdiction of the Gambian courts in relation to the offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 19, torture bailable by the magistrate's court.
It is proposed that Clause 19, torture bailable by the magistrate court, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 20, consent of DPP required for prosecution of non-citizen.
It is proposed that Clause 20, consent of DPP required for prosecution of non-citizen.
Yes.
Yeah. Serekunda West or Wuli East?
Yes.
Wuli East?
Chair, if you look at the caption on the 20, it's a consent of DPP. So we debated this, we come up with, is the Attorney General that deals with cases outside the Gambia. So we feel that it should be consent of the Attorney General rather than the DPP. That is our recommendation there.
Yes, the heading is in conflict with the text. The text said the consent should be given by the AG, but the heading is saying consent of DPP. So the DPP in the heading should be replaced with AG. Thank you.
Honorable members, we are all on top of issues. 20, Clause 20, consent of DPP should be consent of Attorney General. It is proposed that clause, yes? Talinding.
Yes. Problem with this clause. You know, why would they seek the consent of the unknown citizens of this country obliged to respect our laws also? Because with experience, this kind of consent from the Attorney General can be selective, because where the country prioritizes a relationship with certain countries, it bends our laws to ensure that bilateral relations. We've seen a particular case in this kind. I've had my personal experience with this, and I think the court should be left to adjudicate cases. If you are guilty, you are guilty. If you are innocent, you are innocent. Whether you are Gambian or non-Gambian, it shouldn't be subject to any consent from any minister. The courts have the powers to do that. That's my opinion.
Yes, honorable member for Central.
Honorable Chair, yes, I think here we need to be very careful. If we have diplomats who have the immunity, we need to say diplomatic immunities. But if you make it open, no, I'm making my point. Alay, you are from Upper Salu, I'm from Central Banjul. And when I'm talking, you need to listen. What I'm saying is the Honorable Minister can best advise us. But my take is, if you make it so open, what of, for example, foreigners who are living in the rural Gambia, for example, they are teachers who are from other countries, and they can torture students. So it means that they will not be tried?
Honorable member, already, even for citizens, is the DPP the consent of the DPP is required for them to continue with prosecution or not? Criminal prosecution? Yeah, they advise. They can decide and say, no, this one we are not prosecuting. So what happened? But it's their interest to make sure criminals are taken to book. But legally, they have to look at all the other coins and all other matters for them to make decisions. That's their power, just like we are asked to make decisions here. Some people may not want our decision. So what we are saying is, for people outside the country, that's already in existence and in most jurisdictions, that you talk to the Attorney General. It's not a person, it's the office of the Attorney General. And that's where he's trusted to perform. A lot of things come into play. You cannot just say diplomats. It's not only about diplomats.
What I'm not convinced, Chair, is torture is torture. Torture is torture. If a citizen does it and a non-citizen does it, So I think, as far as the Gambia laws is concerned, that law should be, we know that every law has exemption, but you cannot just exempt foreigners in torture. They are in our sectors, all sectors.
Just like, even torture within citizens, it has to get the approval of the DPP. So the same thing for this one.
But Chair,
it's the same.
We've never put that on any law to say.
No, it's the same. You get the consent of the Attorney General. The Attorney General must stay and look at it and say, go ahead. This is what he's saying. Just like a criminal offense or a torture offense, the DPP will say, either stop it there or continue. This is what we have in our laws. Yes, member for Busumbala.
Thank you, Chair. In this respect, why not we leave it in the hand of the DPP then before we give it to the AG? Because if the law is clearly stated that the DPP is in charge of the prosecutions of all cases, then why this one so special that we want the AG's approval before we undertake prosecution in this respect? This is not the law.
And remember, honorable member,
we are working
the DPP works under the. He works under the Attorney General. It's just like the permanent secretary works under the minister.
Constitution, the function of the DPP is very clear.
What we are saying is, with the function of the DPP being stated, it still operates within the ambit of the minister.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is what we are saying. And this is not about local or national criminal offenses. This is about non-nationals. And the DPP's jurisdiction is internal.
I think the AG wants to say something.
Chair.
Honorable Chair.
Can you allow the minister? I'm not yet convinced about this foreigners being exempt. To be honest.
Yes, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister. Honorable Chair. I will give you chances. Let's have the Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
From him, we can have the Honorable Member for Opasalu.
There are certain selected offenses, even in our criminal code, for which the Attorney General is required to give fiat before prosecution can commence. This is considered to be one of those that necessitate the AG's fiat. Quite a number of them are there. Some are offenses relating to abuse of office in public offices. Some have to do with, I think, treason, and certain offenses require AG's fiat. For those who are asking why DPP, not AG, fiats are not issued by the DPP. They are issued by the AG. It's a mistake that the DPP's title is there. And the DPP all his job, he does it under the direction and control of the Attorney General. But fiat are issued by the Attorney General because the Attorney General is the head of the chamber. The Ministry of Justice is made of two departments. There is a ministry, there is a law chamber, and the AG is the head of the law chamber. The Director of Public Prosecution is a lawyer within the chamber, but the chamber is headed by the Attorney General. So any approval and authorization that will come from the chamber is issued by the head of the chamber. I think coming to this issue specifically, it is important that a fiat for non-nationals is acquired. Somebody used diplomatic situation, but it can even go beyond that. But one thing I just needed to emphasize, I think the different organs of government, we should learn to trust each other, that we will all execute our duties with good faith. The Office of the Attorney General will not see a good case where there is a requirement for fiat and refuse to give fiat just because of any reason. The way we trust the Assembly, I think the Assembly should trust the Executive, that when we give them functions in a law, they will execute the function effectively and in good faith. The AG has been performing the issuance of fiat. It will not be used to prevent somebody who should be prosecuted for any personal reasons. But it is a control mechanism. It is a control mechanism that after investigations are done, even without the fiat, in fact, the Speaker said it indirectly, The Attorney General can take over any prosecution and discontinue it, whether he issued fiat or not issued fiat. At any point in time, any criminal prosecution commenced under this act can be, the Attorney General have the right to take it over and decide to discontinue. So if that power is there, the fiat is a regulatory process where there is a order in considerations that this matter should not proceed to court, the AG will take that decision, that the matter cannot go to court. If it has to go to court, it will be under his seal, that permission is granted to proceed to prosecute. That is just a control measure, but it's entirely in your hands.
And the honorable members, we must also note that we live in a globalized world. We live in a world that we cannot live in isolation. Anywhere in the world, there are certain issues that are taken up, even criminal offenses, are taken up at certain levels because of the interest of the states concerned. Because all of us, Gambia first, before any other thing.
No, in Africa, it's not like that.
You have no evidence. You're just making a blanket statement. Most of those people probably do perform by far better than you. And you're making the allegations. Don't make blanket statements without approval. Can you tell me weak person?
Very well. At times, in most cases, when it comes to Europe and other parts, are treated better than our own citizens.
Are those where is it happening?
It happens in the Gambia and all over.
Who?
In Africa in general, I am saying. So these non-citizens, my belief is,
Honorable,
Europeans,
Honorable,
and Americans.
Honorable, can you give us an example of what transpired in the Gambia that does not happen anywhere? Because in the Gambia, you can say something. Go ahead.
No. You are very aggressive towards me. So what should I say?
You see, I want to avoid you making blanket statements. You are a responsible somebody. You are a parliamentarian. You must make guided statements. Always. Because people,
perception you have about
if I'm talking, keep quiet. People look up to you from both within and outside. You are supposed to be a role model.
And I am.
Yeah, so you make guided statements.
That's
no,
what I'm
you don't
making.
make blanket statements. Please, avoid making blanket statements. Yes, can you go ahead?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. After hearing from the Honorable Minister, Honorable Chair, as you said, we are not an island. And these are part of conventions. Do you understand? United Nations Convention Against Torture, which talks about torture and other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment of punishment. Now, if you look at the other article, it says each party shall ensure in its legal system that the victim of an act of torture obtains redress, has an enforceable right to fair and adequate. So my point is, do you understand? Any part of the world, torture is torture. Now, even diplomats, if they commit torture, we need to know whether they have the immunity to be exempted. But here, I'm not talking about diplomats. What of non-diplomats if they commit torture in the Gambia?
What he's saying is, as committed as you are to the issue that all people who cause torture should be punished, the Attorney General also has the same intention and would... Pardon? This is what he's saying. Now, look, what he's saying is, even if it is not there, you take somebody for instance, to court for torture, the Attorney General can come, take it over and disconnect it and discontinue it.
Can I come?
Yes, come.
Chair, like the case about 5 years, 3 years. We all know that our Gambia, our constitution is 5 years to govern us. When there was a dispute, where can you go if you know that you have 5 years and you go for 3 years? This, what I'm saying, laws are laws. Let's put it, because this verbal, the ministers understand that this needs to be prosecuted. But we are making a law here. What to stop us to put it in our laws?
Chair, son, you don't understand. This has been going on.
Yeah, but let's put it, because we are making a law on torture.
You honorable, to be on with all you are believing that you are more, no, not afraid, but you are more up to the issue of punishing people who cause torture than other people.
No, I can be a victim, I know, but not...
He himself can be a victim, the current Attorney General.
But when we have a problem
This is what I'm saying, but that is the caveat that he has as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Maybe any other member who goes to take that seat. This is what I'm saying, but that office should have that control. Because even if you leave it, the office is still given the power to continue with all criminal offenses. And if they have anything, they can just disconnect it. You cannot do anything.
Chair.
So what we are saying is those things are there. Why do we bug about this? Because we should trust each other until proven otherwise.
Chair.
Yes, who is shouting?
Chair, Kiang West.
Kiang
West.
No, I saw another. Is there another somebody?
Chair, but the person
nominated member.
You see,
then from there we can have Kiang West.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think I want my submission to be guided, and to do that, I would like to read clause 20 in totality. It is saying a person who is not a citizen of the Gambia shall not be prosecuted for an offense under this act except with the consent of the Attorney General. So we are not seeing exemptions here. Since we've all agreed that these laws are progressive, that faith should be given to the office. No one is exempting them in totality. We are saying it is the responsibility of the Attorney General to initiate it. That is a progressive law. And now the Attorney General have definitely explained to us in explicit terms why that is necessary. So I strongly believe, Honorable Chair, we have to proceed.
Thank you very much. Member for...
Honorable Chair, I want to believe that most of the conducts here in this act are human rights violations. And why should Attorney General issue a consent for somebody to be punished on where somebody's right has been violated? These are human rights violations. My right has been violated by somebody who is a non-citizen. So Attorney General is given a consent whether that person to be prosecuted by violating my right?
Okay.
That's not fair.
All right. Honorable Member for Kiang West. If this, let's assume that your right is violated and you are going to court, the Attorney General can come and take over the case. Yes. And during the proceedings, he can put a stop to the case.
It's unfair.
Whether it's fair or unfair is another thing, but it can happen. It may be unfair to you, fair to somebody, unfair to somebody, but that can happen. So that's where in fact the power is. So far you have that power, I would not bug myself with this other one. Yes, Honorable Member for Kiang Woolly East.
The member just need to be convinced. The thing is that the responsibility is given to the Attorney General because all the agreements we have internationally are in his office and they study it so that we don't go into violating our own laws. There are many international agreements. So the Attorney General's office is in good place to study those laws, to know exactly whether this should continue or it should not continue, depending on those agreements and laws. That's all that is.
And that's not it. Subject to initiate and undertake criminal procedure. Any person take over to continue or discontinue. So this is the supreme law. Even in
honorable members, especially honorable member for Kiang and the central body. If you look at section 85 of the Constitution, 1. The Director of Public Prosecution shall have power in any case in which he or she considers it desirable to do so and subject to the approval of the Attorney General, A, to initiate and undertake criminal proceedings against any person before any court for any offense against the law of the Gambia. B, to take over and continue any criminal proceedings that has been instituted by any other person or authority. And C, to discontinue at any stage before judgment is delivered any criminal proceedings instituted or undertaken by himself or herself or any other person or authority. This is more than, look at the powers. So this,
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
This is the supreme law.
Honorable Speaker.
You are contradicting to the supreme law. What the supreme law says? Yes.
It's not discriminatory.
What you read? Can I go over it? You said A, to initiate and undertake any criminal proceedings against any person, and there you said non-citizens are not part of it. So it's discriminatory.
No, we are not saying that.
You are not speaking the language.
No, we are not saying that. You are misquoting.
No.
Citizen. No.
That law is saying.
No, it's deliberate. He knows it.
No. It's there.
Suleiman, don't mislead us. You know that that's not what is stated.
No, I'm not misleading.
Honorable Attorney.
Can I help you, honorable member?
I'm not misleading.
Now, what Honorable Speaker read is a general constitutional provision outlining the powers of the Office of the Attorney General along with that of the DPP who is within the office. This section you're saying that is contradicted is not. This section is not saying you don't prosecute non-nationals. It says in order to prosecute them, consult AG for his consent. We will give you examples. I never wanted to go to examples because once you start giving examples, then the examples themselves attract more debate because people look at the desirability or otherwise of the examples. But I think the member for Woolly is raised a critical point. We have a lot of bilateral international agreements or engagements. For example, we send our soldiers abroad to go for missions. Other countries may send soldiers in our countries for missions. These missions are governed by certain agreements. So certain things happen. Like currently, even in my office, I'm dealing with a situation where our own peacekeeping brother is alleged to have committed an offense in a foreign country. But investigations are done and completed, but they hand over to us to prosecute. In that case, those situations can arise. Somebody's or personnel can commit an offense here. It can be investigated. We can get all the evidence. But based on our arrangement, we should not be the one that should prosecute. So we can hand over to a host, another country, to prosecute. In that regard, the AG has the power to say, no, this prosecution cannot happen in the Gambia based on instrument A, B, C, D that Gambia have signed. But we can get a guarantee that when the person is handed over to another country, he will be prosecuted. So these things are done in those contexts.
Yes, I want, Chair.
I think
it's for
honorable
clarification.
members.
Chair, it's for clarification.
Who is there?
Chair.
Who is shouting?
Kia West.
No, somebody's tag is there. Lower, sir. Lower, you put it down. Okay.
Yes, the clarification I want Honorable Minister to make is the provision is not saying for you to approve the prosecution to take place in the Gambia. It's for the prosecution to take place. That's what the provision is saying. It's not saying whether to take place in the Gambia or not.
The AG's jurisdiction is only limited to the Gambia. I cannot approve prosecution in a foreign country. The AG only approves prosecution in the Gambia. That is a given.
It is proposed that Clause 20, consent of Attorney General required for prosecution of non-citizens, stand part of the bill as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 21, duty to report torture.
It is proposed that Clause 21, duty to report torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 22, protection of victims, witnesses, and persons reporting torture.
It is proposed that Clause 22, protection of victims, witnesses, and persons reporting torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 23, restriction on extradition or deportation where person is likely to be tortured.
It is proposed that Clause 23, restriction on extradition or deportation where a person is likely to be tortured, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Observation, yes.
if you read subsection 2, the last line, it says grounds to believe that. So we're just deleting one of the dots.
No, this that is in our.
Yeah, that's what we should delete.
What is it? I don't know. It's not there.
That. Yeah, thank you very much. It is proposed that clause 23, restriction on extradition or deportation where a person is likely to be tortured as amended, stand part of the bill. Those in
Go ahead.
Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 24, no amnesty for offense of torture.
It is proposed that clause 24, no amnesty for offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no.
Chair.
Yes.
West.
Kiang West.
Yes, I want clarification here. No amnesty for offense of torture. And there is clause that is exempting other people. What do we really mean by no amnesty?
What clause exempts people?
Seeking approval, that's an exemption of non-citizens. Clause 20.
We have passed that clause 20. We have passed that one.
But Chair,
we are now
I don't think, I'm not saying we have not passed.
No, I am hearing
my
you.
understanding.
You have put your question. I have heard you. I am saying that clause 20 has been proposed and agreed to.
Yes.
Now you are here asking a question.
Yes.
Now you saying that clause 20 exempts.
Yes.
And members are saying no, you believe that, but it does not exempt.
Yes.
Yeah, and you are a lone voice.
Yes.
And we have passed it.
Very proud to be a lone voice.
Thank you very much. So, Upper Salum.
Yes.
Okay. That's not my case here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I want to see how we can reconcile this with the prerogative of mercy in the Constitution, because the Constitution is actually supreme. How would that be affected by this particular clause? Because the prerogative of mercy is supreme. It's in the Constitution and is,
The prerogative of mercy comes after conviction. You go through a process and you are convicted, then the prerogative of mercy comes in.
Yes, amnesty also comes after conviction.
Amnesty?
Doesn't come after conviction?
I don't understand. You say?
I'm asking,
Yeah, what I understand is sometimes you have a problem and you should be taken to court and you are given amnesty. No amnesty.
No.
Yes, I think that's what I understand it to be. Okay. Like, for instance, probably you went in and tortured somebody somewhere, and then probably somebody wants to cover you up, or the leadership want to cover you up, and say, no, we will exempt you. They said, no, you cannot. You go through a process.
Yeah.
At the end of the process, that's after conviction now, the prerogative of mercy by the president advice can happen.
Absolutely. No. What I'm trying to just confirm is, don't we get amnesty after conviction? You get amnesty after conviction.
Yes.
Yes.
That amnesty is more of the prerogative of mercy.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is, so the prerogative of mercy can override this one.
No, but you see, this amnesty for offense of torture, my understanding is that you cannot be prevented from going through the courts, because you can go to court and you are alleged to have caused torture and the court says no, he is free. So, but you cannot be prevented from going through the process. That's what I understand it to be. But after the whole process now, even people who have killed could be pardoned. Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Speaker, I think what the member for Upper Salem is saying, you know, the prerogative of mercy is after conviction. And amnesty also comes after conviction. It could also be after conviction. Now you have some foreign national following the issuance of feared by the Attorney General for them to be prosecuted and convicted. And there's diplomatic negotiation between their countries and the Gambia, whether political or whatever. And amnesty is given, relying on the prerogative of mercy or diplomatic negotiation to give them amnesty for them to be released. Or the same constitutional provision is used in line with the Constitution, following recommendation by the Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, and amnesty is given, or they have been released based on the prerogative of mercy. And now then people will say no, but because of torture, the act, because already passed, is saying no amnesty. But others will say no, the Constitution did not specify who are going to be exempted to benefit from the prerogative of mercy. That's what the member is talking about.
Yes, Honorable AG, Attorney General, Honorable Minister.
I think the Speaker, to a great extent, you were spot on. We talk about prerogative of mercy after somebody goes through the whole criminal trial process and is convicted. Then that is when the issue of prerogative of mercy pardon comes, the way it is contained in the Constitution. Amnesty is wider. It has the potential of exonerating somebody's criminal liability even before prosecution. Okay? And that is why this section clause that you're looking at, the word accused is used. That an accused person is not entitled to amnesty. And when we use the word accused, it means before trial or while trial is going on, certainly before conviction. That is when you are an accused person. So that makes a distinction between an accused and a convict. Prerogative of mercy is only a convict is entitled to it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm convinced. Honorable Chair, I'm convinced.
Honorable Speaker.
Lower Salum.
Yes, I was just trying to throw on the constitutional provisions and the legal proceedings, where the people claim they have this amnesty. Now, is this law that we are trying to adopt is in line with the Constitution or not? Because there are people who are claiming it.
It's in line.
No, Honorable Chair.
It's not in line.
No, Honorable Chair. You are a presiding officer.
Whom are you asking? Whom are you asking?
I'm asking the minister.
You are asking?
The minister.
You cannot ask the minister.
Now I am asking the minister through you, Honorable Chair. Yes.
Yes, it's me. It's passing through me. I can keep it here or release it.
I'm going to give it to you.
Honorable Chair.
I'm going to give it to you.
Honorable Member for Lower Salum, you are asking about a constitutional provision contrary to a constitutional provision. You are asking. And I said, no, it's not there. It's no contradiction.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Laws. And for instance, I'm not giving an example now. The case of 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. No. I want to come. It's an example.
Yes.
Because he claimed he has this right, amnesty. That was the reason why he doesn't go for the trial proceedings of the commission. You understand? Now it's an illegal proceedings. That's 13. Let me see. It's illegal proceedings 13 of the sentence. Now I'm asking whether it's a contradict this thing with this law that we are trying to.
You know what I'm saying is, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏's case has been judged by the Supreme Court interpreting that portion of the Constitution. So that one has no bearing on this. And what you are saying has no contradiction in the Constitution. You have a right to ask. And when you get the reply, you may be wrong, I may be wrong. But that's the response to it. Somebody's hand was up.
Honorable Speaker, through you, Honorable Chair, through you, and please don't keep it there. To the Attorney General, on a more serious note, you know, this issue of amnesty, he cleared it very well, because once you mention accused, it's not a convicted person. Now, where does it live? This is amnesty. I don't know what are the processes and procedures, and also what are the differences, or what is the difference between the amnesty, or can you use another door or another window to enter another prosecution if you are prosecuting somebody? To say this one is not amnesty, this one we are withdrawing charges.
Honorable Njai, first, I just read a provision of the 1997 Constitution, which overrides all this legislation we are doing. And there you are told that even amnesty, no amnesty, whatever, the AG with his DPP can anytime put away, put on, or do anything.
Sir, that's why I'm
So even whereas the amnesty, for instance, let's just give an example. Something is happening and the government feels that this one, we should not be able to prosecute it because of the repercussions it may have on our own. It goes under the Attorney General takes over, the DPP takes over, go, and then puts away the case.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker.
What happens?
Honorable Chair, yes, that's what I said. I said, I am insinuating that based on all those provisions and all those procedures and processes, and we are going ahead and putting up this clause here. That's why I wanted him to elucidate those differences and what happens next.
Okay, let's have the AG.
Thank you. To the best of my knowledge, I think it's important this August Assembly is informed that we do not have a legislation that empowers anybody or institution to grant amnesty in the Gambia. We don't have an amnesty law in the Gambia. So what we have is what we have all, we all know about in the Constitution. That is a prerogative of mercy power vested in the President, who is advised by a prerogative of mercy committee that I chair. That is the reason why you hear periodic prison releases when there are certain occasions. And that power is only exercised by the President after conviction, after people have been convicted, not before. So the nulli prosecutor that you made mention is also a power that the Honorable Speaker referred to. That's the power of the AG through the DPP to discontinue a criminal trial. But discontinuing a criminal trial does not give that accused person an amnesty. The state can come back on that matter anytime. Anytime. Whereas amnesty has the potential of wiping it out completely. So which means they cannot come back. But we don't have a law that wipes out an allegation of commission of a crime before you are prosecuted and convicted. So if a state discontinues a criminal trial, it is a prosecutorial decision that has been exercised for whatever reason to discontinue, but the state is not prohibited from coming back on that matter, except in a situation where, at the time of entering the nulli, if sufficient evidence have been led, the court has a discretion to acquit and discharge under our procedure. If the person is acquitted and discharged instead of only merely being discharged, then technically the state cannot come back on those charges based on those same facts. That's the only situation where after a nulli the state cannot come back on those issues. If the court decided to say, look, your nulli is coming too late in the day, this accused person would be prejudiced if you should charge him or her again. Based on that, based on my considered judgment, I'm going to acquit instead of just discharge. In that situation, based on those same facts, the state cannot charge again. In any other situation, usually they are just discharged. And if you are only merely discharged, the same facts can be relied upon and you can be charged again for the same transaction. It's not an outright protection from prosecution.
Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Now, what is clear is that anyone charged under this proposed piece of legislation when passed under amnesty, because the objective of the drafters is to make sure that anyone undergoing trial of the crimes alleged to be committed under this bill or act, for instance, should be continued, not to discontinue those trials. Now, let me finish. Now, the AG, I understand very well the two, the amnesty, blanket, whatever you may call it, and also discontinuing setting the accused free based on knowledge prosecution. When the state, instead of want to give the person amnesty, and now realize that amnesty here cannot go, you use another door, back door or window to set the accused free by entering knowledge. As you indicated, it can be only discharged, it can be acquitted and discharged, but it all point to the fact that that prosecution have been stopped.
Honorable Member, what is your proposal? What are you proposing in the circumstance?
My proposal is that the onus is on the Attorney General and the state to either continue prosecution or discontinue. So then, therefore, and if you have this amnesty here, still they will use that powers, those powers they have. Then, therefore, it can be abused. This one here, it can be abused by using the same powers.
Honorable, what are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting we remove it.
What he is suggesting actually is leaning on the Constitution, the necessary provisions of the Constitution. Is this one relevant? Why don't we remove it? Yes, Honorable Nominated Member and
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, if you look at clause 24, I think the objective there is to ensure that anybody who is accused of torture, the individual to be prosecuted. And I think that if at all it's put into substance only underscores the relevance of this current bill that we are considering. But what I want to ask is, how far does this clause guarantee that if at all the accused individuals eventually gets prosecuted, they would not benefit from the prerogative of mercy?
Honorable, you cannot prevent even murder convicts.
No, I'm asking it. If it doesn't cover it, we have an opportunity to do it now or leave it as it is. Because why? Sorry.
What I'm saying is, you are saying that so that when you for the offense of torture, there will be no opportunity for amnesty or prerogative of mercy.
I haven't said that yet. I asked how far have this clause gone to prevent the individual. Now, if the AG advises that it doesn't, it will be up to us to say, okay, let's leave it, or do we add something else? No, but I'm asking the question.
AG said this one only deals with the accused who is not convicted. This is dealing with somebody who is accused.
Honorable Chair.
And the prerogative of mercy comes after conviction.
Honorable Chair, my question is, how far does it serve as a deterrent? A committee is set and established. They advise the president on what? Who is qualified for the prerogative of mercy. Even though these people might be qualified, but based on the severity of the offenses, AG can say, okay, these people, let's exclude them based on A, B, C, or D. But at this point, let him answer. Then we have the opportunity to do something.
Honorable Member.
Torture is serious.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very simple and straightforward statement. Looking at the clause 224, no amnesty for offense of torture.
That is, anybody who has been presumed of committing torture on anybody or meting torture on anybody cannot go free. That is to say, he must be tried. Now, issue of prerogative of mercy would not really feature here if I listen to the AG very well. The prerogative of mercy is after you've been tried, convicted, you are serving a sentence. Justice has been served already. Justice has been served. You are serving your actions, your offenses in prisons. Then this come into say, President has used his power to grant you pardon. But this clause is relevant to put it here. There are subsequent legislation coming, the new constitution is coming. That also can even cater for such provision in our constitution. But what I'm telling you is very relevant to have this clause here, and it has nothing to do with prerogative of mercy at this stage.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, honorable nominated member, we will not be able to, in this legislation, address what happens to them after conviction, because the executive power of prerogative of mercy is a constitutional power. And if you look at Section 82, it says the President can grant such relief to any person. It doesn't give an exception. So, and to try to forestall that here would require a constitutional amendment. So we cannot take care of that possibility here. But the focus here is anybody accused of the offense must be prosecuted. All right? And once you are prosecuted, you are convicted. You are like any other convict. And any convict is entitled to prerogative of mercy somehow or the other. Of course, in the committee's work, before we advise the President, we look at a lot of things before we send the names to the President. So we have a guideline that certain offenses we don't recommend to the President for mercy.
There are times when you also consider certain offenses that they have to spend at least a minimum of some number of years in the prison. All those things are in the constitution. Yes, honorable nominated member and deputy speaker. Deputy speaker.
No, I just wanted, honorable speaker, the minister, I'm not sure whether you're still keeping my that question, to explain to this assembly. Can he assure us that if he pass this, anyone under these offenses will not benefit from knowledge?
Not benefit from?
Honorable Chair. Chair, member for Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, sorry, no, I didn't talk about mercy. Honorable Madi, I didn't say mercy. He understands what I mean. I didn't talk for mercy.
Honorable, let's have the Attorney General to respond.
Honorable Speaker,
let me answer your question. The power to enter nulli is also a power granted under the Constitution. So that cannot be guaranteed in this legislation. But let me tell you one thing. The issue of nulli, in fact, in a criminal trial, a nulli, except where it leads to an acquittal, is not favorable to even the accused person. So the state, we enter nulli very, very, very reserved, very rarely. All right? It's either we know the case is not good enough, there is no point proceeding when we are not going to secure a conviction, or for certain very, very important consideration. Because if I were an accused person going through a criminal trial, nulli is not in your favor, because nulli is like just suspending the trial for now. The state can decide a couple of years, several years after, to come after you. So if it is, for example, nulli is granted to you because of political consideration, it's not even good for you, because if that government goes out, another government can come. Criminal offenses don't expire. Another government can decide to file the charges against you. So to me, if not even in the interest of the accused person to be given a temporary relief by entering a nulli, if the evidence still remains there, you can be charged by another government. So for me, the issue of nulli, to answer you directly, we cannot guarantee it.
Now that you agree with me, I'm fine.
All right.
Law Fladu.
Thank you very much. Please, for some of you that are so acquainted with what is happening, give us the opportunity to understand. Because you are bringing in jargons and issues that are not here. What we want to understand that there is nobody that will be given amnesty without going to trial. This is what this one is telling us. And we are agreeing to that nobody should be given amnesty without going to trial. Nobody. That is the statement. Don't bring other issues here. You know, let's move on, boy. Yes.
Honorable members, it is proposed that clause 24, no amnesty for offense of torture, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 25, regulations.
It is proposed that clause 25, regulations, stand part of the bill.
Yes, Chair.
Those in favor?
Chair, I have something.
Upper Salum,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Upper Salum is saying that
to add another under subsection 25, we add subsection 3.
Go ahead.
I'm suggesting you see, if you look at the subsection 2 here, it's saying the minister may, by statutory instrument and with the approval of the cabinet, amend the schedule to this act. The schedule is already part of this act. So which means any amendment must come to the parliament. So I'm suggesting we add subsection 3 that will read that the statutory instrument must come to the parliament. Statutory legislation, yeah. You say what? No. What I'm saying is we add subsection 3 where that statutory instrument will have to be brought to parliament for consideration by the appropriate committee according to the standing orders.
Correct.
Yeah. See, if you see, we are the lawmakers. Section 100 of the Constitution. The amendment of any law also must rest in our hands. So by you allowing this, what that means is the cabinet and the minister can go and amend the schedule, and the schedule is part of the law. You understand? That's what we are saying. We're going to put it there to add it, so that if they want to make any amendments, they come here.
Now, I think what the honorable member is saying is that usually ministers are authorized to make subsidiary legislation for the effective implementation of their programs. But those ones are not brought to parliament. They go and make it. It will not contradict this one. He's saying that this one is already part of the legislation. We are now saying yes to it as per the amendment. If anybody is to amend it, we must come back to parliament. I think that's what he's saying.
Yes, I believe this, the regulations, they are unending. They can be increased. The minister can increase it. Anytime there is something that is coming which is seen to be a torture, they can increase it there. So we are just giving them that leeway. Instead of coming here, they can always either increase depending on the situation. They can increase or decrease the issues that are embedded in the...
Honorable member, it may be abnormal.
That's all that
if we want to give them the powers, let's remove the appendix and giving them powers to go and make subsidiary legislation to govern it. But where they come and it is brought before parliament, and we look at it and we agree to the appendix, any amendment must come to parliament.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes?
It's 2. What is there? I want the minister to explain that. What is there? Number 2, under 25. The minister may, by statutory instrument, and with the approval of the cabinet, amend the schedule to this. What is
explain that? No, in fact, even with the approval of cabinet, it's not here. It is with the approval of parliament.
Now, let me explain what this
Allow him to. No, with subsection 2, I don't mind us inserting, after approval of the cabinet, we add and subject to approval of the National Assembly.
Yes.
I don't mind that for that specifically. I see the argument. For normal general regulations, subsidiary legislations, I am a fan that don't believe that should come back to Parliament. But this is specific. This is a schedule that has been debated and approved by this Parliament. If it will be extended, it's fair enough we bring it back, you look at it and endorse the extension.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will remove the appendix and then we will give them the open hand.
Chair, I think the minister is in agreement.
Okay, so the proposed amendment is
subject to the approval of the Assembly.
On number 2.
Yes.
On number 2, yes. Subject where is it?
After cabinet.
After cabinet, we can say
subject to the approval of the National Assembly. After cabinet.
It's easier just to insert subsection 3.
Now the proposal is where you have cabinet, you just do it with National Assembly, and then it's okay. Are we fine?
You are fine.
The minister may, by statutory instrument and with the approval of the National Assembly, amend the schedule to this act. It is proposed that clause 25, regulations as amended, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Schedule. No. Schedule. Where is section 3? Honorable members, we have now finished the clauses. We now go to the schedule. And the schedule is numbered 1, 2, and 3. It is proposed that the schedule numbered 1, 2, and 3 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
Sorry, propose this amendment. The section reference there should change from 2 to 3.
Sorry. If you look at the schedule itself, on top of schedule, then you have section 2. It should be section 3, not section 2. Section 2 on the schedule, on top. Pardon? No. If you have schedule, you have schedule. Underneath it, you have section, in brackets, section 2. It should be section 3. From there, you have physical acts of torture include, etc. Have you seen it? Now, it is proposed that the schedule, as amended, stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Members, that's the end of the Committee of the Whole House. The Assembly now resumes. Honorable members, the Assembly now resumes. Honorable members, as communicated earlier at the consideration stage, the third reading for the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill 2020 is now scheduled for Monday, 27th March 2023, for the Attorney General to move for the third reading. However, before this date, the Attorney General's office is hereby urged to comply with Order 7220 of the Standing Orders to ensure that the amended version of the bill is printed and circulated to members in advance. And I thank all honorable members for your participation at the committee stage. I thank you all. Clerk, can we now proceed? Before we...
Speaker.
Yes, member for Lower Salu.
Yeah, I think, Honorable Speaker, we are asking for going for break, for suspending the session for prayers.
Honorable member, please take a seat. I thought you will talk about continuing to finish the business of the day. Honorable members, as we come to the end of the committee of the whole House, and noting that we are now going to move to the continuation of the bill you left behind yesterday, we will now suspend sessions, adjourn, until at an agreed time, then we come back to continue. It is 14:05. When do we agree to come back?
3:30, 3:30.
It's almost 2 o'clock.
No,
you are saying 3 o'clock?
After 2. It's after 2 now, so we can come back by 3:30.
Who is shouting? Huh? Yes, you are talking about 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock, you are talking about 3. Yes, majority.
I am saying that let's converge by 3:30.
But majority, what are you going to do for 1.5 hours?
Because considering that the minister is still not reachable, we have to talk to him to be here as well. He has some meeting with IMF and World Bank. I'm trying to reach him, but after the session, we'll continue contacting him.
Speaker.
Anyway,
Speaker.
Now,
the minister should be available within the next 1 hour, and we have a lot of provision to cover. Where we left is at clause 49. So we have 125 provision, and we must accomplish this today.
Members, we have 3 and 3:30. I think they are almost all the same. So we can now agree, and then you can have prayers and lunch together, and then by 3:30 we come back.
3, Speaker, 3.
Huh?
It's fine, 3.
My majority, are you amenable to 3?
3 o'clock.
Yes, Speaker, if that is general consensus, of course, I would have loved it. I am saying, if that is general consensus, I would have loved it to have it earlier. We can have it at 3. Come back at 3.
Right. Everything being equal, we now suspend until 3 o'clock when we will resume. The House stands suspended until 3 o'clock.
Okay, we'll come back. We are going to break, but we'll come back. Just follow us. Thank you.